Hi, I'm Steve Miletto from the Teaching, Learning, Leading K-12 podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Hello, empowered principals. Welcome to episode 425.
Welcome to the Empowered Principal Podcast, a not-so-typical educational resource that will teach you how to gain control of your career and get emotionally fit to lead your school and your life with joy by refining your most powerful tool, your mind. Here's your host, Certified Life Coach, Angela Kelly.
Well, hello, my empowered principals. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the podcast. Happy February. For those of you who know me, it is my birthday month, and I have had the best time just delighting in spending time with some family, spending time with friends. I've been a little bit all over the place. I have enjoyed it. I was back in Iowa, where is my family of origins home. This is where I grew up, and I'm currently recording this in Iowa, but by the time you hear this episode, I will have driven from Iowa back to California. I am staying with a friend. She's actually my mentor teacher, and I'm just supporting her during this time of life. And it's been an honor to be in Iowa with family here. As you know, spending time with my dad before he passed, spending time with my grandma before she unexpectedly passed, supporting my sister through the pressure and stress of being the POA, the power of attorney for both my dad and my grandmother, as she's the local person here. And this is just what she's excellent at doing in her life, supporting her through the struggles and the grief and the legality of it all, just kind of being her cheerleader, not really doing it for her, but just being by her side. That has been very important to me. That's really mattered to me. And of course, I have an entire life out on the West Coast in California, where I was, been living for the last 30 years, where I raised my son, where I held my career for the 30 years in education before becoming a coach. So I have an entire life out there, and I am going back for a period of time to support my mentor teacher. And I love that I get to spend this time with her during this stage of life. And you will hear more of the adventures as they unfold. So, speaking of pressure, speaking of stress, school leadership can have a little bit of those two things in it. There's some pressure, there's some stress. And many people will reach out to me, my one-on-one clients, my EPC members. We come together and we have the most powerful conversations. I have to tell you, this group of EPC members is the most dynamic, the most dedicated, committed leaders. The conversations we are having, we are really evolving the way that we think and approach school leadership, where it's blowing my mind at the way that these women leaders, not that men aren't invited, but at this time we are a group of women leaders, we're having these really deep, intense conversations around what it means to be a school leader, the expectations we have, the identity we uphold, the pressures that we are facing, the stress that we feel, and wondering how to create mastery in leadership, mastery in life. How do we be this exceptional leader while also being an exceptional human and an exceptional partner, friend, spouse, mother, father, auntie, uncle, friend, all of the things, right? We want to have a full life as a school leader. And sometimes it can feel like the pressures of school leadership consume us. So we started talking about this, and we had a very in-depth conversation around it. And that conversation sparked me to contemplate deeper these experiences that we have as school leaders. So there is pressure. And how I define pressure in my coaching is that pressures are these external demands. They are the situations that arise. They are the circumstances upon which you are experiencing in your school or in your school community, in your district. So there's the circumstance that you are leading in, living in, working in. Then situations arise in those circumstances. And there are external demands that are happening, right? Things you need to get done, people you need to meet with, people you need to discuss, people you need to hire, people you need to fire, meetings you have to go to, meetings you have to facilitate, all of the pressures and demands, getting more kids to school. So we're looking at attendance, we're looking at tardiness, we're looking at test scores, assessment scores, we're looking at all these numeric data points, and we have pressure to improve those data points. So there's external forces that we feel internally as a school leader. We take ownership and responsibility for them, and we feel that pressure. We physically feel the pressure in our bodies, right? And then there are these situations. So circumstances are kind of the factors that are at play in whatever neck of the woods you are leading in. And those situations are just the moments that are arising within that set of circumstances, while the demands are the requests and the expectations of us based on our role, our title, our status as a school leader, that position that we're in, right? So lots of pressures arise during the year. The pressure of hiring, the pressure of assigning positions, the pressure of preparing the master schedule, the bell schedule, the site plan, the pressure of both facilitating meetings and being a participant. Are you an active participant? Are you a passive participant? Different pressures, right? The pressure of meeting with a parent versus meeting with a teacher, versus meeting with a board member, versus meeting with the superintendent, versus meeting with an attorney. Different pressures. All of the pressures of implementing the initiatives, rolling them out, getting people to buy in, the curriculums that you have to roll out, the curriculums you have to sample and test, and people will, try on the curriculums before we say yes to them. The technology we have to learn, the platforms we have to figure out. There's a lot of pressure. The pressure of being the building manager, the professional mentor, right? The instructional coach, the instructional leader. So there's the managing, it's the little tasks that you need to do to get the ship sailing. And then there is the leadership part, the visionary, the mentor, the person who inspires, who ignites, who influences, who creates impact. And we have thoughts about all of these pressures. We have opinions about the pressure. Some pressures we're like, I'm on it. I've got this. Other pressures we have different opinions about. I'm not so sure about that. I don't really like that. This doesn't feel good. There are pressures as school leaders that we believe we are equipped to handle. And then there are other pressures that we question if we are equipped to handle. When we believe that we're capable of handling the pressure, we perform. We just do it. We take action. We do, right? Just do it, as Nike says. We do, we solve, we communicate, we facilitate, we coach, we mentor, we complete, we execute, we handle. We're basically the Olivia Pope of school leadership. When we believe that we're capable, when we believe we have the ability, the tools, the skills, the knowledge, the wisdom, the confidence to handle something, we simply handle it. We go in, we do it. Does it mean it's always comfortable? No. Does it mean we're like, oh gosh, this again? No. But we do it. We just perform. However, when we are unsure if we are capable of handling a certain pressure, we tend to stagnate. We question. We overthink. We doubt. We procrastinate. We avoid. We ask other people. We blame. We abdicate. We deflect. We're not exactly in Olivia Pope energy. We're kind of more in the energy of Nervous Nelly or a Whiny Winnie. I don't know, I'm making this up. But we aren't in belief. We're not in courage, confidence. We're not in trust, faith. We're not in the energy of doing. We're not in the energy of completion, just performing, getting it done. When these pressures build up that we don't believe we know how to handle, there are pressures that we have every single day in school leadership, and we just perform most of those. We don't really even think much about them. We just do because we trust we're capable and we handle it. That's our identity. But then there are these pressures that build up within us that we believe we don't know how to handle, or we don't think that we're equipped with the skill set or the emotional bandwidth to navigate the pressure that we feel. And when we feel that, That's what I label as stress. The emotion of stress, the vibration internally that we have that we call stress. I'm so stressed. I feel stressed. I'm under a lot of stress, that kind of thing. Stress, I believe, is generated from the belief that we cannot handle the pressures of school leadership. Whatever pressures that you feel you're not capable of handling, whether that's you don't have the skill set, you don't know how to handle it, you don't know what to do, or if it's just the emotional bandwidth, like I'm tired of dealing with this, I don't like this person, I don't like the way they're coming at me, this keeps happening, I don't know how to get their energy away from me, like I don't like this, I don't like all this pressure. We feel stress. So we feel stress when we think there's too much to do and not enough time. And we say things like, it's just too much. I can't do this all. I can't keep up. I can't get to everything. I'm spinning my wheels. We feel stressed because we don't know how to solve it. We don't know how to perform, to overcome the stress and the pressure. We can't handle like being under this pressure and holding space for that pressure without there being stress. So sometimes it's about not having enough time. Sometimes we feel stressed when we don't know what to do, or we don't know what to say, or we don't know what decision to make because we go into a story around not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say, what will other people think, I don't know what to decide, I'm not sure of the impact, and we kind of spin out, we stagnate. Sometimes we feel stressed when we think we cannot handle the discomfort of a conversation, the discomfort of a decision we need to make, the discomfort of an approach that we know is best to take. You might feel stressed when you think that you're in control of other people's feelings. And when I say that, we tend to feel stress when we think we're in control of other people's feelings. What I mean by that is we think it's our job to make people feel a certain way. We think we actually have control over their emotional inputs, right? I think of it like an equalizer on a stereo, and it feels like we're the DJ and we're turning up this volume and turning down the treble and turning up the bass and making their heart pump harder and making them angry, or turning this down. Oh, we're going to make them feel good. We're going to, that we're equalizing their emotions. We are not their emotional DJ, but we think that. So we feel stressed when we're like trying to get everybody to feel a certain way, trying to get the equalizer to balance just perfectly so everybody's happy. So we feel stress when we think we're in control, but then we also feel stress when we realize we can't control their emotions, but we want to, right? So we believe that it's our responsibility, it's our job to keep the staff happy, but then we also realize, oh my gosh, no matter what I do, the staff isn't happy. Stress either way. Now we feel trapped. Right? We feel stressed when we think we should be able to influence and control people's actions and outcomes. I'm the leader. I should have them in line. I should have them on point. They should be in their most empowered selves. I want to be able to influence that and control, and really have an impact on these people and how they're behaving, what they're doing in their classrooms, how they're handling student situations, how they're communicating with families. We feel stress in trying to get them to see the light or to get them to do it the way we want them to do it. And then we also feel stress when we realize we cannot control what people think, say, do. We can't control their outcomes, and yet we still feel responsibility for doing so. So when there is a disequilibrium between the amount of pressure we believe we can handle and the amount of pressure we believe we cannot handle, when the disequilibrium shifts over to there's less that I know how to handle than know how to handle, when we feel that disequilibrium and there's pressure mounting and the stress is rising, we eventually hit a threshold where we're at max capacity and all we want to do is seek relief. So relief from the pressure, relief from all the stress and the tension, relief from the discomfort of not knowing what to do and feeling incompetent and not feeling like you're doing enough and overworking and not being able to please the people and not getting the test scores, like all of that spirals our identity downward. And we're just like, I want relief from this. It's relief becomes desired when we do not see how it's even possible to handle the pressure. So when we can't handle the pressure, and I've been told this, like point blank, well, maybe you're not cut out for school leadership. You can't seem to handle the pressure. And you know what? That stung so badly, but it was absolutely right. I was complaining. I was blaming. I was venting, commiserating. I wasn't handling the pressure. I was at capacity and I was looking for relief in the form of venting, blaming, abdicating, commiserating. It was blowing off the steam, right? It was relief. So the pain of not believing that we're capable will compound until we're at that emotional bandwidth and we end up relieving the pressure somehow, some way. So oftentimes these behaviors are quite subconscious. We don't even realize we're doing them. We go on to autopilot. It's almost like we numb out our awareness, the awareness portion of our brain, and we just go into like subconscious behavior. So we walk through the staff lounge and there's a day-old box of donuts and we end up eating one or two. Or we like keep grabbing a handful of candy as we're going pass through the office, right? We start to like give ourselves little hits of relief. Or we, hold our breath until we get to happy hour and then we blow out steam, have a glass of wine, talk about it, vent about it. Sometimes we I can't take this anymore. We take a mental health day. And everyone's like, it's good to take a mental health day. And I think it is good to take a mental health day if we're being intentional about why we're taking the day off and what we're doing with that day, which is to restore mental health, which is to call our therapist or to hire a coach or work with somebody who can give us a new lens, a new perspective through which to look so that we can kind of clean up some of this pain, some of this, tendency to relieve ourselves. Other things we do, we delegate things. I don't want to do that. I abdicate responsibility. I don't want to do it. I don't like to do it. I don't think I can do it. I just delegate it or I just leave it. I just don't do it. But what happens is we end up playing small. We end up eroding our identity. We think less of ourselves. And we start looking for that evidence subconsciously of how we're not good enough to be a leader. We're not cut out for school leadership. We don't know how to handle pressure. We don't know how to handle stress. And we're just looking for relief. We're like, I give up. I'm not cut out. Or, you know what? It's this district. I'm going to go look and I'm going to go find a new principalship in a different district. It'll be better over there. We're looking for doses of mini relief, immediate gratifications, right? Anything that will temporarily relieve us from the mental and emotional pressures of the stress. And the really hard part about relief, that at least I've noticed this in myself, is that it positively reinforces the behavior because it gives us the relief we're desiring for a moment. It feels good for the amount of time that we're indulging in the relief. So the sugar high feels so good for the moment when we're eating the donut or the candy. The little wine buzz we get when we go have a glass of wine after work with friends or colleagues. The food intake, because we've had this hard day and we're too tired to work, so we're just going to pick up takeout, binge on it when we get home, along with binging with Netflix. We're going to binge. It feels good to catch up on Bridgerton or to, binge one of your shows over the weekend, to win that next level on your video game of the week, Candy Crushing it, right, on your phone. It's like the booby prize. It feels so good. In the world of Candy Crush, when you're killing it and you get past that hard level and you win, it's relief. You're not thinking about work and the ways that you're incompetent or the skill sets you don't have. You're thinking about the skill set you have in Candy Crush. It provides us the relief that our mind, body, heart, soul are craving. It's like, just give me a break from this. And the relief works, which is why it's so hard to stop doing it. If it didn't work, our brains would well, that didn't work. Let's try something else. But it does work until it doesn't. Because the stress and the pressure after the relief is over, it's temporary. But the stress and the pressure, they're still there waiting for us. They haven't gone anywhere. The stress relievers were just buffers. It was a temporary distraction. But the stress-producing thoughts, the stress-producing identity is still there. It has not disappeared. Your circumstances haven't changed. The situation you're facing at work, it's still there. It hasn't gone anywhere. What do we do? So what do we do with stress? And I believe this is the hardest part of school leadership. The hardest part of any kind of leadership is how do we expand our capacity to hold the pressure without creating as much stress? without creating stress to the level we can't handle it. So we either cave into the types of those reliefs that are out there and available to us, or we learn how to hold out for satisfaction. And satisfaction is the feeling that we get when we can hold the pressure all the way through to the end. It's the feeling we get when we figure out how to do the thing we don't know how to do. It's when we hold that conversation that we were afraid to have. It's when we make the decision that we don't want to make. It's when we say no to the candidate that's not an ideal match, even though no other candidates applied, but they're not a fit. And we say no because we trust that the right person is coming. Satisfaction is the way that we feel when we ask the question that we fear people will judge us for asking. But we raise our hand and we say, hey, I have a question. We ask it. Satisfaction. It's when we facilitate the meeting we didn't think we knew how to facilitate or we didn't think we could handle facilitating. But we got up there and did it. Even if we did it shaky, we did it. That's satisfaction. It's doing the thing we think we can't do. That is satisfaction. It's allowing the uncomfortable emotions to vibrate in our body without numbing it out. So satisfaction doesn't come when something's easy. You don't feel satisfied with yourself when you drive to the dentist because you know how to drive. It's easy. You don't consider it to be a problem. You just drive there. You don't sit in the parking lot and just, wow, I'm so satisfied that I was able to drive from my house to the dentist today. You can be grateful that you know how to drive, that you have a car, that you didn't have to take the city bus. You can be grateful, but is satisfied the way you feel? You might feel satisfied when you leave the dentist and your teeth are all shiny clean and they polish them and they floss them and they clean them. They did the x-rays and like, ooh, my mouth is in good shape. You might feel satisfied when you get a no cavity report. It's when we do the things that pay off, that we achieve the outcome. We have the clean teeth. It took us 6 months to know, were we going to have clean teeth report or not when we went to the dentist? We brushed, we flossed, we used the water pick, whatever tools you used, but you used them, but you did them consistently. You did them because you care about your health. You are satisfied with the health of your mouth. So then, as we were talking about this in EPC, the question that I get asked by many clients or even people on the internet who are following me, they'll say, well, okay, so in order to be satisfied, we have to be perfect. Should we never treat ourselves? Should we never eat a donut? Should we never grab some candy? Should we never go out for a glass of wine? Should we just grin and bear it? Bite on a stick and scream? That's a school leader in your office. Grab a pencil and just gnaw on it? What are we supposed to do here? The answer is no. You don't need to be perfect. Of course you can treat yourself, but do it with intention. Treat yourself with intention because you're satisfied, not because you need relief. So sometimes you treat yourself because it feels good. It feels satisfying. Like you intentionally eat the fresh donut, not the 2-day-old donuts after everybody else has picked through them and tore them in half, and you get a third of this donut and a half of that donut. That's all dry and crumbly. You go and have one fresh, your favorite flavored donut with all the satisfaction in the world. And sometimes you exercise your capacity to hold the pressure. So sometimes you walk through the staff lounge and there's a donut and you don't pick it up and eat it. And you feel satisfied that you said no to yourself, that you were able to hold the pressure of smelling the warm donuts, of wanting the donuts, and then exercising your empowerment to say, no, thank you, not today. Sometimes you have to bear it. You have to hold the pressure, to bear the emotions that come with the school leadership experience, to allow them to be present and to validate them. I feel this way. Name it, claim it, own it, feel it, allow it. And even though I'm feeling this way, what needs to get done? Or is there a better feeling thought that's accessible to me? To acknowledge that your emotions aren't present just because you're a school leader. They would not vanish if you stopped being a school leader. Your emotions are present because you're a human. So people who think, I don't have the bandwidth, emotional bandwidth to be a school leader, can go and do something else. But those same emotions, you're still going to experience pain, anger, frustration, disappointment, annoyance, failure, sadness. You're going to feel all the negative feels no matter what you're doing on the planet, not because you're a school leader, but because you're a human. So we want to understand what the emotion is and where it's coming from. What are the thoughts triggering those emotions? It's important to know that you were born to handle the emotions that come with the human experience and to acknowledge that sometimes the human experience is quite painful. It's very awful. And even in the worst of times, even in the hardest of days, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, guys, and gents and ladies and all of us. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's painful. It's disgusting. It's awful. It's heartbreaking. It's gut wrenching. And we were born to handle it. Not to condone it, not allow it. That's different. But we can handle the pain. And when you feel yourself spiraling down to a place where you feel so much despair, you don't think you can handle it, or you're feeling so defeated, you don't think you can take it one more minute, then you come up for air. It's different to just numb out and not do anything than to like, I'm going to change course here for a while. I'm going to get off social media. I'm going to not watch the news, and I'm going to go volunteer somewhere, or I'm going to go and love on my kids and my teachers today. I'm going to do something that feels really good because that's empowering. And doom scrolling or watching the news to ad nauseum and getting depressed and not being able to function does not serve me, my family, my school community. I promise you that you've been through very painful emotions in your past, and you will experience future painful moments. And maybe you're going through them as you're listening to this, but you have the capacity to handle them. You've been through fear before: doubt, frustration, annoyance, disappointment, sadness, anger, grief, embarrassment. That's a big one. Feeling guilt, feeling shame, some really socially isolating feelings that can almost curl you up into a ball and never want to go anywhere again, or feeling like the world is coming to an end. We've felt these feelings before. Each and every emotion you have has a purpose, but you can handle the pressure of them. And it sometimes requires you to get external help because it's hard. We have blind spots. It's hard to see what's going on inside of us. It's like you can't see behind you because you don't have vision back there. That's why when you drive a car, you have all these mirrors. And even then, there are blind spots. That's what therapists can do, a friend that you trust, a coach, a mentor, someone that you can feel safe enough with to discuss how you're actually feeling, what you're actually thinking, where your identity is caving under all of the pressure. You've already experienced these emotions, and it's because you've experienced them and handled them that your brain is like, please, those were so painful last time. Let's not do this again. I don't like the feeling. I don't like the feeling of guilt or shame or embarrassment or disappointment. I would prefer not to ever do that again. So I don't want to do that. I don't like what I make it mean about you, about me, about us. I don't like that it pushes my capacity to have to stand up and be strong. I don't like that it questions my identity. So let's do something else that provides a little more relief, because the satisfaction of overcoming this feels just too big, too insurmountable. I don't want to have to work. I don't want to have to wait to feel good. It makes me have to feel my feelings, and I don't like that. But satisfaction is that delayed gratification. It's the feeling you get when you put in the time, you allow time and space, you wait for the delayed, ending, you go to the finish line. It's when you hydrate your body, and in a couple of weeks, the energy you feel is amazing, or you eat nourishing foods, and in a week or two, you're just feeling incredible. And you're not getting that afternoon lag anymore where you need a Starbucks or you need a Diet Coke. Satisfaction is like knowing that the outcome you desired from a conversation and taking the time to craft the words and the intentions that feels empowering for you and for them, and then hitting it out of the ballpark. Satisfaction is going home with energy to spare for your family or your friends because you were able to prioritize the tasks at hand so that you don't have to overwork in the evening. Satisfaction is knowing that when it's been a hard day, that you lead from your heart and you are in full alignment and integrity. And that even after this hard day, maybe it was heartbreaking, maybe it was frustrating, Maybe it really triggered you, but you made the decisions that you needed to make for yourself, your staff, your students. This isn't about living a life that we just endure. The empowered principal and empowerment as a school leader is about living a life that you love, a career that you love, a life you enjoy, a career you enjoy, a life that you were born to live, a life where you are alive for all of it. But what about being perfect? Says the people. What about treating ourselves? Isn't that what life's about? And there's a difference between treating yourself for relief and treating yourself for satisfaction, as I mentioned before. So if you've had a bad day, and all leaders do, even the empowered ones, and that is you, by the way, you are empowered. It's always within you. If you've had a bad day and you're feeling like you want the relief, you can treat yourself with intentional kindness. Treat yourself and give yourself the kind of relief that will feel good in the long run. If you've had a rough day, go to bed early. If you're tired, go to bed. Don't watch Netflix and then you're up too late and now you're even more tired. Take a walk, movement, momentum, a bubble bath. Maybe order in versus cooking for the family, giving yourself that treat. It feels satisfying to let the kids have pizza. Asking your spouse to do the bedtime routine so that you can clean up and relax and get to bed early. Maybe come home and just read a book that you enjoy just for the pleasure of it, for the satisfaction of it. Call a friend who's not in education and talk about everything but. Talk about something else. And trust me on this one. Like, I share these insights with you because I am zero different than you. I am no different. I feel the same things. I experience the same inadequacies. My identity has earthquakes. I call them identity quakes all the time. But changing your circumstance does not necessarily mean that you're going to eliminate adverse. I still must invite myself to consciousness on a daily basis and choose with intention satisfaction over relief. So changing your circumstances does not mean that you eliminate adverse situations that arise or the feelings that accompany those situations. It's human to feel pressure. It's human to have stressful thoughts and feel stress in your body. It's human to crave that immediate relief. The human part of you wants to give in. The human wants to be impatient with satisfaction. But the empowered level of you, when you're in that moment of empowerment, what's bigger than that initial urge for relief is the desire for satisfaction. Try it on. Look at where you feel pressure. Where do you feel stress? Where do you desire to give in to the urge to relieve yourself? And where do you desire to experience true, deep satisfaction? Play with this. Have fun with it. See where it takes you. Have a beautiful week. I love you all. Take good care. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Empowered Principal Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to learn more, please visit angelakellycoaching.com, where you can sign up for weekly updates and learn more about the tools that will help you become an emotionally fit school leader.